Hmm. Hello, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube. Um, the connection is a little unstable, and I may lose you. Uh, if that's the case, I will attempt to put in a different camera and come right back online, but I'm not sure that will be possible. So please check out how to join us on Zoom. Um, you can do that at the portlandinsight.org website. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Or hello, I guess. Good morning, dear Dharma friends. That's better. Well, a handful of you I recognize from the weekend, yesterday. How lovely. How wonderful this is to be able to meet together. I'm Robert Beatty, or that's what I'm called. And I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon. The Portland Insight Meditation Community. You can find a tremendous wealth of information on portlandinsight.org and also on my recently revamped website, robertbeatty.com. So, a poem. This is from a fellow called Jack McCarthy. And it's called The Spaces Between. For Helen. It hurts when love dies. When love is deep, it hurts deeply. More deeply maybe than you thought anything could ever hurt again. That's a powerful few lines, isn't it? When love dies, it hurts when love dies. When love is deep, it hurts deeply. More deeply maybe than you ever thought anything would ever hurt again. But with time, the spaces between the moments when it hurts get longer. The moments themselves become less devastating, till eventually you come to associate them with a sad sweetness that has as much in common with love as it does with grief. I will not say, don't grieve for me. Do I look like St. Francis? But I wish you long spaces in between, and may you carry into them all of that sweetness, and only enough sadness to attest the risk that's being taken by everyone who loves you. Every time we love, we're saying, let it ride. And what's on the table is the rent money. And every time we stride again out into the crisp desert night, our fists shoved deep into empty pockets, we know ourselves for losers. But Jesus, what brave losers we are. I wish you this too, for the spaces in between this bravery. I will not say don't grieve for me, but do I look like St. Francis? But I wish you long spaces in between, and may you carry into them all of that sweetness, and only enough sadness to attest the risk that is being taken by everyone who loves you. Every time we love, we're saying, let it ride, and what's on the table is the rent money. And every time we stride again out into the crisp desert night, our fists shoved deep into empty pockets, we know ourselves for losers. But Jesus, what brave losers we are. I wish you this too, for the spaces in between this bravery. Do we dare to incarnate? Do we dare to fully embrace this life? I think that's the invitation of the Dharma. And for support on this perilous journey, the guitar will probably be pretty faint this morning. There's a battery in my guitar that makes it work through the PA system. It's passed away. For the moment, here's my little dog. Hello, Budo. Hi. Another momentary check-in. Has to check on me because he can't hear me. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Please join me if you wish. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. And now we get to sit. We get to be awake. How fortunate to wake up again this morning. As Ram Dass used to put it, we wake up in the morning and we put on our familiar somebody suit. This is the somebody I am today. So let's embrace this somebody. It's risky. It's risky because this somebody lives in time in a body. But the price of not risking it is being sort of half alive. So let us come home to breathing in and breathing out. And acknowledge the fact that this breathing takes place in the context of the whole body. From the toes to the legs to the pelvis, to the solar plexus and chest and back, sides, to the hands and fingers and thumbs, the arms, the shoulders and the neck, the jaw, the lips and tongue, the cheeks, the eyes and the forehead, the scalp and the ears. Embracing life. To embrace life means to embrace also the mind. To be present for and with the thoughts, the memories that constitute the past. The ideas and fantasies that are the future. So to notice the wandering mind for what it is. It's the wandering mind. It's not an enemy to be defeated. In a way, we are naturalists, and we are studying the terrain of what it is, the flora and fauna of what it is to be a human being. Thoughts come and go. Sometimes we get lost in those thoughts for long periods of time. And then mysteriously, there's awakening. And so, within the context of this living body, we embrace the fullness of each in-breath and out-breath. creating a destiny in our lives rather than living out of fate is an awesome responsibility. To not follow the herd, to not succumb to the conditionings of our childhood or of the culture around us. To actually do what the Buddha said, or called going against the stream. Requires that we band together, we form Sangha. We learn and follow the path. And one moment at a time, we endeavor to remain awake, to remain present now, to this living moment. To allow each breath to become the most important thing in the world. It's very useful to remember to become aware of the mood, because mood colors everything. Oftentimes we developed a mood in childhood that was really appropriate for the family system we were in. It seems as though the entire organism can get used to being depressed or hypervigilant. With meditation, we start peeking out, we start dropping out of the identification with these predominant moods. There's also attitudes which go along with them. There can be the attitude of, I have to feel in a hurry because it's imperative I get everything done, or I'm not safe, or so what is the mood of this moment? Softening into a simple awareness of mood as anatta, as not self. Doesn't mean it changes. It does mean that we step into a destiny rather than a fate. And coming home with great intimacy to breathing in and breathing out. Every breath has a beginning. Embrace it. Every breath has a rising to fullness. Be present. Every breath has a decline. Be present. Every breath vanishes. Present. Please reflect upon what it is that brings you to practice. Okay, you can go out. There's a longing, isn't there? A longing to be more comfortable in life, to be less anxious, to worry less about what we think of as our own selfish needs. How wonderfully normal and human of us. And turning toward that part of us that seeks comfort and security, let us imagine there lives in our hearts, in your heart, a golden being, tiny, shaped exactly like you. It's the Buddha or Kuan Yin or whatever archetypal figure you'd like it to be. Or maybe visualization isn't your thing, so just a thought or an energy, a wish, a prayer. And you know you can intuit the proper words for yourself. So as I say these words, you can let your auto-translator turn them into any words you need. It could be a different voice, a woman's voice, or a different voice in any way you need. And so what is it that we're longing for? From this golden Buddha to you, may I be happy. May you be happy. Imagine this archetypal figure looking at you with so much love, the love, the look of a mother gazing into the eyes of her newborn. I love you. Welcome to the world. I'll take care of you. You're perfectly safe. Breathe your way into as much love as you can bear. Dare to incarnate. Dare to embrace this life. There's that ancient mantra that carries so much power. I love you with your name at the end. Let a little smile come to your lips, maybe imperceptible, but I love you with your name at the end. You can still pay attention to the body, this precious, one-of-a-kind, ever in the universe body. Allowing the love of this infinitely loving being in your heart, this doorway in your heart, to flow into your heart and up into your body, into your chest, into your head, down into your torso and pelvis and legs and feet. And letting this little being expand now until their skin is exactly contiguous with yours. And you become what you really are, which is love manifest in matter. Consciousness manifest in matter, as matter. And allow your awareness to be in the vibration and life that's your entire skin. Don't need to think about it. No evaluation is necessary. Just here you sit. And now imagining yourself going forward into your day today, at least occasionally in contact with the fact that you can always be mindful of what you're doing. You can also remember yourself as this profound acceptance and loving. And whenever you're suffering and hurting in some way, even something as simple as anxiety, hold your anxiety in sweet compassion, as you would a small child or infant. And you can allow this golden being to recede back into the heart, or you can leave it completely ablaze in your body. As you now bring awareness into your pressure of your body on the chair, the life in your torso. The life in the face and the eyes. And now allowing the preparations that are necessary for opening the eyes. It doesn't happen all by itself. Opening eyes requires intention. And now with all this presence and love in your own body, think of something you might think or say when meeting another person. Like, may you too be happy, or may you be freed from identification with all suffering, or maybe even boldly, you're lovable, or I love you. And then when you let your eyes open and they fall upon one of our community members, why not recite that in your mind, in your heart? It could be the simple blessing, I see you. For to be seen is to be known, to be recognized. And as you're ready, letting your eyes open, and I see you. I see you. And what if seeing weren't your strong suit? Then it would be something like, I am here and I know you are there. Because seeing is just our dominant sense. There's a knowing, a seeing from the heart, which is equally important. I know you are there. And what is it that we know about each other? We all have the same needs, really, fundamentally. We're all hungry to be loved and loving. We want to be safe. We want our children to be safe. We really want to be respected and heard and to offer the same for others. So we can ground in that. Think about what you're going to be doing, what you think you're going to be doing today. Oh, that reminds me. Things I forget, I remember sometimes in meditation. So anyway, think of something you're going to be doing and think, how can you be mindful doing that? What could your primary object be? Can you remember your own heart and your deep safety? I mean, to love and to participate in life is incredibly risky. But is there a better game? Is there an alternative? Yes, unconsciousness and numbness. Been there, done that. How many years could I smoke weed every day? A lot. But then it becomes, not helpful. It never was helpful very much. So, and you, what's happening? I invite you to share now, to open up the channel the other way. What are you knowing this morning? What are you facing today? What is the Dharma revealing to you? What are your successes and blessings? And where has the carpet been pulled out? I haven't seen Jason, are you here? No.
Yeah.
You are. I can't see you. Are you not lit up?
I am.
Oh, you are. I'm looking for you. How you doing with the what would we call it? The natural delight of discovering the president was sick, and the fact that you were thinking about that, about yourself having that. If you,
Uh, I don't know if it was a natural delight, but anyway, it was interesting development. Not really sure how to think about it.
well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I've been reflecting on it a lot and talking with several people, and that whole notion of Schadenfreude, taking happiness and finding happiness in the suffering of others, which is part of human consciousness, and the importance of not beating ourselves up for the emergence of that. And then that's the point of choice, the choice point of what do we do with that from there. And I was very grateful to you for bringing it up, because it was happening for quite a few people with whom I spoke. And how to cultivate compassion even out of or especially out of our less illumined parts.
Yes, I'm sure there's many of us that are feeling some hope that him getting sick will help to illustrate for others that the virus is actually something serious.
Yeah. And I spoke with someone, funny. Anyway, mind isn't quite functioning yet. About the story of Scrooge. There was a Christmas Carol. That sometimes such events can be profoundly transformative, and may it be so. So, thank you.
Good morning, it's Carol.
Hello, Carol. You're
Hi.
back.
I would just like to thank everybody for showing up every morning, and especially to you, Robert, for your continued dedication to us. I found it pretty easy to get up early during the spring and the summertime. I am pretty sensitive to the light, but I have to admit I've been finding it more challenging with the darkness these mornings. So I'm just really appreciative of everybody's discipline and commitment, because it's a great inspiration to me to get me here every morning. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Carol. Sangha. Hooray for Sangha. I have a sort of silly analogy. It's pretty unlikely that I would head off into the world without brushing my teeth in the morning. I do forget to comb my hair. That's a bit of a problem. I need to. Jennifer says I should look at myself in the mirror every day before I leave the house. What a bold idea. Should maybe check my collar or something. But anyway, of course I brush my teeth. Why would I not brush my mind? I can wake up out of sleep in any state. So at least a little while in meditation, so we can kind of like drop the dipstick in and say, where am I at today? What is the nature of this being this morning? I think I did okay on the hair this morning.
Robert, this is Jim. I was curious about where you might go with that phrase, step into your destiny. You were inviting us to incarnate, and then I can't remember how you did it, but you somehow flowed into this statement. You know, that you were inviting us to step into your destiny.
It's dramatic, isn't it? The music gets intense, and well, I think I think that is the essence of the sixth and seventh and eighth steps of dependent origination. That the present moment presents us with this experience and these feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, and indeterminate. And then comes craving. I want to act on this a certain way. And then if we're mindful, we can choose to act or not. And so let's say an angry impulse arises. I can choose to act in anger, and then I'm reborn in that moment as an angry person. Or I can see the anger arising and see the impulse to act, and not act. Or I can cultivate compassion instead. So it's a mighty. It is calling it stepping into our destiny is not an exaggeration. For instance. It's a funny way to say it, isn't it? For instance. I talked with a person in the last few days who had a response to Donald Trump being sick of a certain amount of pleasure, or taking some delight in it. And for lots of different reasons. But then this person noticed that, and we had conversation about it. And she determined that she didn't want to be a person who harbored that kind of one dimension of the inner activity was a kind of I don't know, like revenge sort of, or anyway, she didn't want to be a person who harbored that, and so she went on to practice loving kindness and compassion. Now, if we're coming around the wheel and we hit that very familiar old, aha, this is how it should be, and things are happening the way I want them now, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to strengthen this. That's one option. That's the fate. The other would be at this choice point where one can decide, okay, that's an interesting response. Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become, given my understanding that Donald Trump or whoever else is me? If I really believe that, I may not know that yet, but if I really believe that, do I want to savor my hatred or my sense of vindication or something? And it's a really interesting choice. And I think it can be very helpful at such times to realize, okay, I have that, and how compassionate can I be with myself that I have that? Because I'm a normal human. So that's the moment always. It's always in the present moment when we're choosing between going with the instinctive response, which sometimes we do, of course, if it's a skillful one, but with also sometimes putting the lid on it and saying, no, I'm not going to really delight in that one. I'm going to plant something different. Is that making sense? And the destiny then is, I've had this. I wrote a little article that's on my website. I think it's about 15 years old, which is I want to be a Buddha when I grow up. And if I'm going to be a Buddha when I grow up, I have to do a lot of intercepting of instinctive and conditioned reflexes. Thanks.
Robert.
Hello.
Hi, Robert. Steffi.
Hi, Steffi.
Hi. So I just wanted to just bring up a different aspect of the same topic. So when when different Republicans we've been seeing get COVID, and most recently for me it was a senator from Wisconsin. I felt happy when I heard that. I don't know him, don't know anything about him. I just thought it's really sad that sickness might be our only path to democracy at this point. Because, as they're trying to steal the Supreme Court seat, if more Republican senators get sick, that may, put it off. But so for me, it's not anything personal about. I really don't care about Trump or his suffering or the suffering of any of these people. I mean, when I say care, I don't wish it on them. That's what I mean. But I do wish for democracy to happen and for checks and balances to be restored and for us to have decent people on the court. And I don't know how that could happen outside of a natural disaster at this point, because it seems that the Republican Party is so corrupt.
Thank you for that. It made what I hear in that is you're not wishing ill upon the person. You're even maybe some compassionate for the person, but that you have some hopes that things will turn out a particular way because of this. And that is different from the personal animosity thing. As you were speaking, I remembered an interview I heard or I read some years ago with one of a young fellow. He was one of the Dalai Lama's American bodyguards. The Dalai Lama travels with with layers of security around him. When I was at a teachers conference once and he came, all the teachers, 280 teachers, had to leave Spirit Rock, and then we came back in through metal detectors. So there were the police, and then there was a layer of Secret Service, a lot. There must have been 20 guys at least, and a couple of women. And then he had his personal, I think it was his personal goons, these burly Tibetan men. And anyway, one of his personal bodyguards was interviewed, and one of the Buddhist American personal bodyguards was interviewed, and one of the Buddhist glossy magazines, and one of the questions they asked him was, "Would you hurt someone if you, in order to protect His Holiness, would you hurt them?" He said, "Well, yes, of course, if I needed to." And he said, "Would you kill someone?" And he said, "Yes, if I had to, I would." And the fellow said, "Well, how does that match with your Buddhist training?" And he said, "Well, no matter what I had to do of that ilk, I would try to do it with absolutely no rancor and no hatred. I would be protecting His Holiness." And that was very interesting to me. How to be loving and true to our values in even dire circumstances. It's a complicated topic, isn't it?
Robert,
Oh, there's Tim. There he is.
what you were saying, that kind of speaks to intention,
Yeah.
right? Like the thing in Buddhism is that intention is super important. As I read it, that your intention is really important. An action that you perform is judged, if that's the right word, or assessed according to your intention.
Intention is karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the seed.
Yeah. So wishing for better democracy, safer, happier country and world is quite different than personally wishing for this fucker to feel some pain because he deserves it. It's two totally different things in terms of intention.
Clearly put.
Good morning, Sangha. I may have missed, I don't know if anyone commented on this, I had to step away for a minute. But Robert, what you just said about the Dalai Lama, I've been thinking about another story I heard about the Dalai Lama, where he was asked if he could kill someone, or if he believed it would be okay to kill someone who was going to hurt, thousands of people, let's say like Hitler. And he justified it, and he said, yes, it would be okay to do that if it was going to save a lot of other people, that could be justified. And he said, but I couldn't do it.
Ah, nice.
So I think about that sometimes regarding Trump and now having COVID. It isn't that I wish it personal harm on him, but there is a way that if it could happen that he's taken out in a sense, because he feels like such a menace to so many people. I feel good about that, but without necessarily wishing him personal harm, but to protect so many beings, human and otherwise.
Thank you, Melissa. Oh, I hear another voice. Russell, hey.
Hey, buddy. I just want to say how powerful this discussion has been for me. And who would have thought Donald Trump might be a part of my path to greater spiritual understanding? But the comments about him that everyone's made, and the comments about the Dalai Lama and the Dalai Lama's bodyguard, seem to me to draw some very profound, kind of at the core of it all, spiritual distinctions for me. And so I thank you and I thank the Sangha for the kind of understanding that flows from this group.
Thank you, Russell.
Robert, it's Dave.
Hello, David.
I'm remembering another story, and it's been a while since you've mentioned it. I don't know if you remember it, but it was a similar situation with a teacher who maybe it was apocryphal or something, but someone came in, was about to kill someone else, and the teacher killed the person who was wielding the gun. And they said, so the students came up to him and said, "How could you do that?" And it was something like, "I was saving him from his, from harming his karma," or I don't have the terminology right. I don't know if this resonates for you, if you remember what I'm talking about. And a few weeks ago, I volunteered here that I was sort of looking at it. I wish for Trump the consequences of his actions, and it was half a joke, but there is this sense of if someone is out there causing hundreds of thousands of deaths and countless millions of pain, is it not just, not as Schadenfreude, and not as concern about him as a being, but as an expression that, gosh, the universe is going to protect. People are going to experience the consequences of their bad actions. And this is, to me, this is reaffirming, not because I wish him ill, but, it has landed. He's planted a seed, and it has landed on him. Now, anyway, I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, David. I always struggle with I think I spoke about this on Friday. The Dharma is about the reduction and elimination of suffering. And I think it's unlikely that there are many, if any, Trump devotees in our community. And the thought is always there for me. The Dharma itself isn't political, and everyone is suffering so much. And there's no reason that someone who would be a Trump supporter couldn't be interested in observing their own suffering and setting themselves free. So there's been some conversation in Dharma circles. I know Joseph Goldstein would not. I don't know how he's evolved in the last 5 years, but he would never participate in a conversation of this ilk, in that he didn't want to close the doors of the Insight Meditation Society to anybody or to drive anybody away. So where I try to land is that the fundamental task is to be loving. and to understand that any one of us could be in any one of these roles. A slight change of wind as we're parachuting down into a womb, and we could be on any side of any issue. So I really want to speak to having love and compassion for everyone in this dance, no matter what their role. And that's true with the protesters and the police and I'm not saying there are good people on all sides. I'm saying that we're all one. That in fact, to see the other as oneself, the golden rule, is, I believe, it's the path of the destiny I want to live. So thank you for that.
Robert, oh.
Where are you? It's Kat.
Mary Kay jumped in first. Go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead, Kat.
Oh, go ahead, Mary Kay, you're on. Kat next.
Okay, I just want to say that I know other people are aware of this and thinking this too, but I'm very uncomfortable with conversations about killing for the greater good or whatever. We humans are so good at rationalizing our actions, and our self-righteousness can become really big and blinding. And I guess that's all I want to say, is that the conversation, it makes me uncomfortable because, well, because of our blindness and our rationalizations and especially our self-righteousness. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Kay. I share your discomfort, and it's awkward territory. And where'd you go, Kat? There you are.
I'm right here. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Sandra. I want to say that more mindfully. Good morning, Sandra. You are a beautiful force in my life. Good morning. Before I read this, I want to first take ownership that I was one of those people who found out that Trump got COVID and was gleeful. And then I had to sit with myself with that. I've called myself a pacifist my entire life. And then I felt glee at someone else's suffering. At a 74-year-old man's suffering. Like that, that is really was something I had to take some time with. Of wow, where is my, in the queer community and a lot of talking about various marginalized people, they talk about the boundary of your allyship. How far do you go as an ally before you're like, nope, I'm done. I will not be your ally with this. And so I had to sort of look at that with my own pacifism, my own care for other people. Where is my boundary that I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm just going to be okay with wanting someone's misery. And so having to push past that. And thanks to your recommendation, Robert, I've been reading The Wise Heart by Jack Kornfield. And in it is a poem that I wanted to read, a prayer that I wanted to read here, which is called the Ravensbrück Prayer. The following prayer was found at Ravensbrück death camp where 92,000 women and children died. It was scrawled on wrapping paper near a dead child. Lord, remember not only the men and women of good, but also those of ill will. But do not only remember the suffering they've inflicted on us. Remember the fruits they have brought thanks to this. Remember the fruits we have brought thanks to this suffering. Our comradeship, our loyalty, our humility, the courage, the generosity, the greatness of heart which has grown out of all of this. And when they come to judgment, let all the fruits we have borne be their forgiveness. And so if someone who died at Ravensbrück, probably one of my ancestors, honestly, or a relative of, no, that would be my ancestors, could have that prayer towards the guards at a concentration camp who were killing children. May I personally aspire to have that openness towards the people in my country. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat. Who?
Robert, this is Maria Cristina.
Hi, Christina.
Yes, I want to remember the story of the past lives of the Buddha that is told that he was in a ship and there was somebody that they were going. This man was going to kill everybody to sack rack the boat with all the with all in those times the treasures of the the pirates sort of thing, and the Buddha was there, and he decided to kill this man, and in the story says that Buddha really killed the man first of all because he wanted to save all of the passengers, and second of all because he didn't want the murderer, the one that was going to kill, to have such a really bad karma in his future life. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Cristina. Those, I believe that's from the Jataka tales, and there are, I forget how many of them there are, but there are stories. It's like well, they're morality tales of a Buddhist ilk, and they have some very interesting perspectives. Huh. So, 20 after 8. Let's take a moment, please. Oh, first, is anybody sitting with something you'd really like to say? Because this is the kind of thing we could talk for another 20 minutes and then go into silence for 3 or 4 hours and then come back and have more conversation, and that would be interesting conversation. But we don't have that. But is there something someone wants to say? Please. If you're stirred up in some way, particularly. I hear a voice.
Tim, again.
Hi, Tim. Again.
I was in a discussion recently about this whole thing, compassion for Donald Trump and stuff, and one of the people said, so does that mean that we just turn the other cheek, that we just go passively when they load us into the cattle cars? And I said, no, we fight like demons, we fight like cornered rats, we fight like mother bears. That's my take on it.
Thanks, Tim. So please, let us feel into our own bodies and hearts. There's been conversation, different positions. It may have stirred up any number of things. Let's notice them for what they are. This is the responses of my organism, my belief system, my sense of right and wrong. Can we hold these responses of our own lightly, lovingly, compassionately? May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. May we take our own agitation or irritation or anything unfinished, may we take that deeply into our hearts and comfort ourselves. And may we hold in our hearts the radical notion that all beings are ourselves. And whatever your prayer would be, let's be kind with ourselves and with each other. Well, my friends, I think I'd like to do a different closing today, similar to the Sufi practices, but with different words. And how about this? What if we were to take our hands to our hearts and fill them with all the love that's there, and then bring them forward with the blessing, go in peace. And let's do it 6 times. I'm going to open up mute all, I guess. They've changed the controls again. Please unmute yourself if you wish. They keep improving it, so to speak. So filling your hands with your heart energy, and then you'll simply say, go in peace.
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 Go in peace. Twice more. Go in peace. Go in peace.
Go in peace.
Thank you, dear friends.
Go in peace.
I will look forward to being with you tomorrow. May our day be very mindful and loving and kind with ourselves and others. Bye-bye. Thanks for sharing, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye back to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the morning.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, Kat.
Kat.
Bye, everybody.
That was
It's hard to leave in the morning. It's hard to press the leave button,
I know, me too.
especially when I get to see Francine's view. The pink room.
And, Francine is a master gardener. She came here and put beautiful plants all around my cabin. And so her garden is no doubt extraordinary and like her.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. I've been meaning to check in. Do we need a refreshment on any of those, Robert?
I don't think so. I think they're all hanging on. Well, they're doing the fall thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's promising.
Well, they're going to sleep. It's like, oh God, that was a hot summer. And that smoke, the smoke in August sucked. Or September, I guess.
Out of us. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, Maria, Christina, and Steffi.
Bye-bye, Robert.
Thanks for sharing.
Goodbye, Saga.
Goodbye, Hadley.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Whew. Oh, goodbye, dear Facebook friends. It worked. Seems like it worked anyway. Bye-bye.